Welcome back, ladies and gentlemen, to the PML. We are here with our second set of the day, about to get started. And this one is the one that really matters here. Just kidding, but it's the one that matters for first and second place. They all matter in our hearts. It's just someone's going to take the #1 spot, and it's going to be ClownFiesta or it's going to be Sour Team.
Yeah.
I've got Gormizer alongside me to ride with you guys on this action. And what do you think about this set going in? I'm pretty excited.
I mean, this has been, in the past, one of the sets we saw. It went to 5 games, and it was really very much like flip of the coin. Like, if you asked right at the game 5, who's going to win this? No one actually really knows. You come into it, I think it went 3-3 at the very end for it, too. And now both teams have gone through very similar kind of changes that they've had to make for their rosters, either because, Zarini being pulled up into the Premier League or other issues there for ClownFiesta. So you're having to make those adjustments on the fly. You're having to figure out, who can we pull in? Who can we make sure makes the difference for us that we can maintain this first place spot?
And Zarini now a little bit of a celebrity there, got some exceeded reputation for sure now that he's going to be there. If he stays or if he comes back around, maybe another PPL team looks at him as well. Definitely going to get that clout that you kind of want, knowing, I've been there. These guys use me. We won some games as well, knowing that you could do it.
A little bit.
It's a good little exercise to, prove that, I am at this level, cement that, and then also, to be looking forward. Let's talk a little bit about ClownFiesta, though, because their roster has been interesting over the course of this year. But at the end of the day, for me, it's been a lot about Simsalou and whether he shows up. What's ClownFiesta about for you?
I'm looking very similarly at Simsalou. I feel like he has been in that area where it's just, if he is on, then the team is going to maybe not stomp everybody, but they will run through you. They will always be ahead. And if he's having even just, I want to say, a mediocre day, you start to see that pressure get pushed down onto players like Arrays, maybe even onto Ovim, to be like, how good is your front line right now? Because we need the extra help. We need that extra push. So if Simsalou is that player that is stepping up, if he's playing as Pip, if he's playing at that level that we are used to seeing, then I feel like they are a force to be reckoned with.
Absolutely. I mean, I think there's so much potential here on this ClownFiesta roster. And you talk about Ovim as well. Simsalou and Ovim have both been really strong land performers. So when you look at those two, specifically just highlighting them, there's a lot of the backbone, the meat of this team that's really strong and really high quality. We've seen that in their performances. I feel like they've had I want to say cohesion that sometimes Sour Team have been missing. And if they can keep that up, I think they're going to look really good today. But, on the flip side of things, with Sour Team, how do you feel about them? Perdo, Sheepa, Ninu have looked extremely good this year, too.
And it's one of those things that those 3 names really kind of, that's all you really need. Yeah, there's 2 other members, and they're really good members, but it's just you've got Perdo, you've got Sheepa, you've got Ninu, you've got a ton of damage, you've got a ton of control, and a very solid, setup front line, to the point where everything is going to work together. Those 3 as a core make this team, again, an indomitable force. You have to be able to get rid of them, you have to best them, and then you can start taking the games off of them.
Well, I mean, looking at the way that they've maneuvered around some of these things, we've seen, different map picks as well. I remember watching this one where we went to Warder's Gate and we had this kind of opportunity to see the Bucks utilized. But they've also been willing to, I think in the same way, rely on some new faces. And that, in my opinion, was Joby. He's been doing a fantastic job on the back line, just keeping everyone nice and healthy on the support. Maldama seemed to be his preference there. And we'll see how that translates as we are about to get into the maps today. It's going to be a 1-2 seed fighting for that first place position. It'll be a very exciting matchup. Gore, did you have Sour Team taking this one, by the way?
I think I had ClownFiesta.
Did you?
I can't fully remember because that was a whole week ago. But
I'm
going to say that I think I said ClownFiesta, and I think I'll stand by that.
Okay.
But Sour Team replacing Zarini with Coriel is the thing that kind of catches my eye. If there's anyone on that team who can now understand the way ClownFiesta are going to play, because, Ovim being maybe a bigger voice in that, I think it's Coriel. And I'm wondering if his insight from playing with Ovim for so long is maybe going to give him that little bit of an edge to be like, okay, well, this is what he's going to try to do. This is how we beat it. And if the PPL players, ex-PPL players, will kind of heed that advice.
This is very interesting, too. Really knowing the meta, knowing these teams, the Pip ban from Sour Team does a couple things here. Obviously, open some other stuff up, but Simsalou is known to be a very successful Pip, and it opens up the Torvald as well with just any option you can think of. That's sounding very dangerous.
That I mean, there's almost endless possibilities on this map as well. I mean, like, typically lately we've been seeing, oh man, we got Torvald, let's go Koga. And that's kind of the mindset. But it's like, man, we got Torvald, let's go literally insert any flank here. And it's on Jaguar Falls, so like, you can go for the Koga, you can go for a Xin, you could go for pretty much anybody, and they're going to look good. Maybe not the Eevee just yet. She might have to wait for another map, but he opens up so many possibilities that you just don't get to see.
I like that the Bomb King's picked up too, because it takes it away from Sour, but it holds its own against even a high DPS bubbled champion.
Yeah.
It's scary. But if anybody's going to face up against that, I think Bomb King is probably the best position. Good health, great damage, got mobility to get out of a fight, some CC immunity in case things go wrong, a big stun to shut that down no matter what.
And Bomb King with a Wrecker, like, it's one of those things like, Cauterize is really good for him, but like we used to see Wrecker only, and like you get a Wrecker 2 on a Bomb King, those bubbles don't mean anything. You just 1-2 pop, bubbles gone, 1-2 pop. Usually they're gone. If not, then maybe one more bomb. So 5 bombs, most people, I mean, base clip is 6 size. If you're running the cards, you go up to 8. Shouldn't be too hard.
So Cassie and Zen, that's pretty dangerous, but is that enough?
That's scary.
Is that enough? I mean, ClownFiesta now, with the Tyra, with the BK, they're obviously going to go for, I would assume, actually it's not obvious, but we could see a Solar Blessing Fury here. That would be a little riskier,
Time to take charge.
but it's going to be the Ying. Now that obviously, now they don't have the Grok to go against, which is nice, so they won't be as countered out, but how do you feel about these lineups? Who do you give the edge to in game number 1 here on Jag?
I am looking honestly towards Sour Team. I feel like Zen's survivable as it is. Then you give him 2,000 more health, you give Cassie that bonus damage for those shots.
Yeah.
I think it just becomes an incredibly dangerous scenario. Bomb King is good, but I don't know if Bomb King, Tyra, like they have to do so much work on the side of ClownFiesta to break this down.
Ooh, it's going to be risky, man. I could see this Tyra working out as well. I can also see this BK really shutting some things down once these Wreckers get going. It's a matter of early game, and it's a matter of how they play it on Jaguar Falls. The 1 and 2 seed going up against each other in the European PML. Let's send it down to Nick and Dave to get it going.
Thank you, gentlemen, on the desk, and the birthday gifts continue here. A nice 1 versus 2 matchup to continue on our day here. The Torvald makes his way through. Sheepa getting the Torvald. Do you like the Torvald on the left side over there?
Absolutely love it. I love Torvald because I love Ninu's Zen. I think Ninu's is probably my favorite minor league player, period, to watch. And I think he was, honestly, when he was in the PPL, he was still one of my favorite players to watch. Just because of the name he made for himself. And good start here. Nice 1105 swing on to Ash. Ain't a bad way to kick off a little minor league game. Even clips one in the background as well. And the big question I had coming into this, Dave, is how does Sour Team look without Zarini? So far, so good.
So far, so good. Soloing. I guess you can't really call it a solo when you have Torvald in your back pocket. But tearing down the Ash to start things off. ClownFiesta, though, they are going to be the first ones onto the point right now. 42% for them. Jopi finding one onto Simsaloo as well. So the Bomb King starting off the day very hot. Simsy looking to continue that trend here, following in Doodle's footsteps here in our second matchup of the day. Sour Team have been able to retake the point here, and Ninu's going to continue his aggression onto the back line, doing so much damage onto that Tyra, unable to clean it up. Using a spite, trying to, I guess, a little bit of a position reversal. Yeah, good job there from Ninu, cleaning up Simsaloo on the back end of the spite. Ovum finds one. Coriol drops Please Do as well. So ClownFiesta down 2 members. Point percentage is about tied up right now, and the fight continues, and Nara's going to be the next to go down, and Ninu is just shredding through ClownFiesta right now.
I mean, these 1,100 final Yomi hits that are clipping people, not only his target, but people around him, just bystanders, innocently looking on to the slaughter. Sour Team grab themselves a nice objective, and of course the zero hesitation spike up over the wall just to get that reposition. I don't know if it's a call from someone to come help, but you know, I didn't really love where he was at. He didn't really love where he was at, and out he went. So I think I really like that play, because especially Spike can put you in a moment of weakness. You are doing less damage and are more vulnerable, I think, spiting you, literally using your ultimate than just auto-attacking with Torvald.
Well, Simsy's looking to answer back with a nice King Bomb here. He's not going to be able to find a target. Instead, he's going to get taken out. I don't think they were where he was expecting them to be, and Ninu just continues his shred right now, and he's not missing. It helps when you have the shield, and that helps when you're not missing any shots. His teammates doing the best they can to clean up some of the kills, stealing some away from Ninu, potentially. Coriol doing huge things here on this barrack, and ClownFiesta down 4 members. Sour Team's going to continue their push here. 4 of them streaking out. Torvald actually the only one who's not streaked at the moment.
It's kind of fun to just watch his turn his brain off, right? Like he just throws that Yomi swing in. It doesn't matter that there's like 4 people around the corner. Just whirls in and just keeps on trucking. It's just complete blind aggression. That's the way you got to play it, though. This will fall off a little bit as the shield dies quicker and quicker. But at the moment, Ninu is just in complete control of this game. There's nobody that can contest him right now.
They need to find a way to answer it. You imagine some wreckers will start coming online later into this game. For the meantime, though, before those come online, ClownFiesta is pushed very far back, and this is Sour Team's chance to capitalize on the early advantage, make it 2-0. Perdeaux doing just that, drops Ovim, so that's the Inara who's down now, and Sour Team's going to continue their push deep into the base. The Hyper Beam pushes some back, doesn't find a kill, finds some space, despite locking him down, and that's just it's just so much pressure. They're utilizing their utility so well.
They are.
And there's no answer here. They got 2 kills. ClownFiesta found 2 kills that entire round. Top 3 damage dealers. All on the side of blue.
Perdeaux kept up somehow, by the way. Let's just go ahead and comment on that fact real quick, even though Ninu's getting hard-pocketed at the moment. But the Hyper Beam, the Shoulder Bash takes Please Do too far past his ultimate, and then the lockdown with the Spite. I mean, that was really, really cool to watch. Really, really clean play there, and not something you really see that often. Torvald rarely makes it into games. So you forget that he is a very good counter to Ashe doing what she wants to do. He can silence her. He can hyper beam her away from her ultimate. There's so much that character does. And Ashe is, the strongest thing about her is probably her ultimate. She brings so much turnaround potential with that bad boy. And to completely negate it with one character, and then in the interim, that character is making Xin able to do what Xin's doing right now. Torvald, we kind of start to see why he's banned.
Ninu, even without the Torvald shield, he has it now, but just before this, he shredded through Please Do on that Ashe, even without the Torvald shield, and that's just a byproduct of Ninu doing good, hitting his shots, those Yomi strikes doing big things. Saw a couple wreckers on the side of ClownFiesta.
Torvald doo-doos on Ashe, man. This is crazy.
Okay, so 3 wreckers now. They have 3 wreckers, so they'll start to be able to deal with some of those Torvald shields. No wrecker 2s just yet. That'll be their next back. So potentially a little of that Torvald advantage going away here in a minute, but at the time being, Ninu is just making the most of it, making most of the use. What was that? I like that. What was that?
He was startled. But that's it. That's it's like it's your panic button, but you're not exactly panicking. You're just like into billow, and you're safe yet again. Comeback mechanic though.
That's true. 97%. You gotta watch out. 97% here for ClownFiesta. Comeback mechanic gets them up and in it. The King Bomb comes in, finds a couple stuns. But they get Dread Serpented out of the offensive attack. It's not going to matter though. Simsalou finds Perdeaux on the backside. He finds 2 for himself as well. And the objective does finally get captured by ClownFiesta. And I think that is sort of just due to the long drawn-out fight. There weren't many deaths coming in on either side, just a lot of damage, some 1-for-1 trades. But with that comeback mechanic, with that fast cap, ClownFiesta was totally fine to take that. They just sat on the point and got themselves up to 100 very quickly.
I think that, you look at that Serpent Beach game from last set as well. When you have the comeback mechanic and Inara, it's tough to lose that. Unless you really goof, it's tough to lose that point. I mean, she can really just, without even thinking, without comeback mechanic, she can sometimes get you 60 to 80% on a fight that you lost. So if you throw an extra 50% capture rate on top of that, it's over. There's really nothing else to say about it. Simsalou does go down here. Illusory Rift, I think, did get popped there to try and save his life, so small little misstep.
It's got to be frustrating. Ninu just kind of whirls his way in.
Guaranteed.
Whacks you 3 times and then gets himself out. There's nothing to answer back for him. He had a Yang next to him as well, but Ninu feeling confident, hitting all of his shots, finds one, looking for 2 onto the Inara now.
It's 2 for 1.
He's going to get himself out at the moment. Going to get himself some healing from that Damba. But that just shows you, I mean, he went in behind the wall, found 3 members of ClownFiesta there, zoned, and then, identified 1 that he wanted to, and then
right on out of that team fight.
Out of there.
And he's hitting so many 2-for-1 Yomi strikes as well, which is big damage. It's 1,100 when he's getting bubbled. And, frustrating Torvald's in, that's one thing. I think Bomb King is, at base, frustrating to play against, in my opinion. So
900 autos anyway.
He don't have any room to talk, in my opinion, and out he goes yet again. And Ninu playing very nicely around Ash getting caught up in the ceiling, so that time the Hyper Beam doesn't quite do fully what it set out to do, but it moves her. If you can get her up and away, it's actually not very hard. Like, you can Void Grip Ash basically out of her ultimate and do damage to her again. So Hyper Beam, in more ways than one, can really, really mess up Ash's day. And you don't have to play against it that often. It's a struggle. You're not used to getting silenced out of your dashes, having that 15-second cooldown stripped out of your still alive but now truly panicking hands.
Certainly not what you would expect. What you wouldn't expect is the Sour team to give this one up easily. 4 ultimates up for them, so plenty of utility to stop this one going through, looking to find themselves their 3rd point. ClownFiesta trying to tie it up here 2-2. Just some early damage coming out. That's an unfortunate stick into a shot there from Please Do. Drops Perdo, so that's a Cassie down. Simsalute drops Ninu as well. And a clean 4 sweep there from ClownFiesta. Some targeted aggression. Drops Sour team on the back side, and ClownFiesta finding their rhythm. I mean, Ninu's kind of been who we've been talking about, that Torvalded up Zen, but ClownFiesta's found the aggression at the right times, found the proper picks. That results in a tied-up score here.
Seismic Crash, I have never really seen it win a fight that quickly. Ninu somehow doesn't have any cooldowns available. He could have countered it, he could have billeted it, probably could have whirled out of range as well. It could have spiked. Like, any of his cooldowns would have been, I think, acceptable there to get him out, but would it have saved the fight? That's the question here. And there is actually one kind of interesting power spike now that Ninu has in turn hit his Cauterize 3. I think Boka's done a really good job healing this game. I think he's bailed a lot of people out of trouble, out of harm's way. And it's like this ebb and flow, right? The record comes online and Ninu starts to slow down a bit, but now his Cauterize is online, so he doesn't need as much uptime in these fights to get his damage to actually stick.
Looking to
like there.
He makes his damage
that
stick
sucks, bro.
Really fast onto Erase. The King Bomb comes out. Oh, nice. He turns it around, finds himself 3. Ninu picking up right where he left off, looking for 4. Cassie steals it away. 5th is on the menu here, though, but it's not going to matter. In the meantime, on the background, Sour Team has found themselves the advantage, found themselves on the point. Now Ninu's just going to continue. He's in their base. He's zoning them out. Nearly finishes off Simsaloo on the Bomb King. He's just going to back off and get himself healed up and do it all over again.
That's a tilt moment right there for Simsaloo, I think, if he just gets blown up again. And Nora tries to skirt around the side but gets dismounted. I don't know if she'll be able to make it back here in time. She's walking. W King Ash does get the touch for her, though, but now Ovim's in trouble. They didn't coordinate who was touching. They both went out into harm's way, and they're both feeling the pain now.
Both feeling the pain. Ovim goes down, so that's the Inara. That's who your main contest is going to be. Simsaloo not trying to give it up easily. That's a nice Grumpy Bomb. Could find some targets. They're able to dip around the shoulder there. Cassie now getting stuck by Simsaloo as well. Don't count him out at any point in this. Torvald's the next target for Simsy here, and he finds him, and ClownFiesta have retaken the point here, and enough staggered kills. Yeah, this one is flipped on its head.
They should have disengaged there. I mean, they probably could have cleanly disengaged too there, but Sour Team just continue to conga line in, never get their feet back under them, and Ninu just now coming back, the guy who probably would have been likely to carry that. Simsaloo again, when he has the opportunity, when he's not getting 3-shot by Ninu, he's carrying fights. So it really
when
is.
He can play the game.
Right. When you don't lose this, or when you don't win this fight, you lose it. Because ClownFiesta, the second Ninu doesn't kill everyone or Perdo, is not plugging away and killing people, Simsaloo's just going to win this.
Simsaloo, the one to watch on the side of ClownFiesta. Ninu continuing his aggression off the side, using that spite for positional advantage again, biting off a little more than he can chew there. Bolka cleans him up. Perdo, though, cleans up Erase as well, so a little bit of back and forth right now. That's been an interesting thing to see, not something you see super often. Ninu is feeling good enough and aggressive enough that he's just using his spite to get him up and over these walls and finding himself that offensive advantage. Didn't pay off for him at the moment right there.
Yeah, he got slapped down by Ying. Dikembe Mutombo'd over the wall. Not today.
No. Ying gives him the smackdown. He's going to respawn, though. Going to get back into this fight. 1.5 minutes left, about 50% of the way to go here for ClownFiesta, and against all odds, seemingly, it looks like they're the ones who are pushing for the win here. Here comes the King Bomb. Into the Dome Shield he goes.
I like
That's
it.
a nice positioning there by Barra, keeping himself
Beautiful.
inside.
You're right.
Blocking off the follow-up damage there from the Bomb King, and some follow-up kills as well. A nice double there for Coriel.
Yeah.
It was a Sour Team hold.
Perfect segue to talk about him. I mean, is Zarini now being called up to the PPL to substitute in for Na'Vi? Corio is a guy who's kind of been around the block, I believe, you know, playing a long time with the old, what was it, B5 squad with Ovum and the boys. Like, he played in the CIS, PGS long ago, I believe. And so he's a guy that, you know, he's been around the block. He's been to lands. He kind of knows what he's doing. And it's almost the same story of, like, Zarini getting called up and Corio getting called up-ish in a way to the minor league to fill in what is this #1 squad in Europe. And he's doing very well with it. I think it's going to show us that if you plug a great player into a team with good leadership and a direction, they can just kind of hop in, hit the ground running, and follow that direction, and you won't really miss too much of a step.
Not missing a step at all. No, I mean, he has found his own space in this game. I think he had the 3rd highest damage a minute ago. Some members on ClownFiesta potentially catching up to him. No, still number 3 on the damage charts, out damaging a Tyra Bomb King. That's tough to do, although I guess they've been down most of the time at the hands of Ninu and Cassie. And another double kill there for him.
Is that a turret kill?
I think it was. Off the screen.
Where was that turret?
Himself the turret. But I mean, certainly making his presence felt and really a driving force on the defense there.
Oh, nice follow-up onto the Dread Serpent here. Very called, premeditated. It felt like that was supposed to be what kicked off the team fight there, and Ninu sort of maybe just jumped the gun, hopped the border a little bit too soon, and tried to get to the backline. Bolka does a good job at not panicking, and Yun can actually, you know, she can put out most of the supports. Frankly, can if you just hit all your shots, you're going to do good damage.
Hit your shots
to your targets, kid. I mean, come on here. Into the blast shields here for Ninu. That's the biggest thing, and you can get to that point because Zin is one of the squishier guys in this lineup. So if he can grab a couple levels of the Haven, he will be able to survive. And that's a big break point. Just to survive an additional bomb for Bomb King buys you almost an additional second of life out on the battlefield because he's only got a 0.7 refire, relatively slow. To the back line he goes again. Dread Serpent is there for him, and Perdo is there for him. That's the big storyline here. But stunned out almost immediately. Hyper Beam is going to do what it can.
It's actually a nice Hyper Beam, buying themselves some space. I mean, ClownFiesta had gotten up and close, a little too close for comfort there on the side of Sour Team, but the Hyper Beam gets them backing away. But in the meantime, ClownFiesta have retaken the point here, and Sour Team on the back foot. They're streaking out, but they are on the back foot here, and ClownFiesta gets back onto the point here. 39% in climbing for them. No kills necessarily coming out one way or the other. An early one came out for Perdo on the Cassie, a second one here. Starting off this second fight, the King Bomb just going to be into the corner, keep himself safe, does not find the stun around the corner, just maybe an inch or two short, and ends up dropping for his troubles there. So Simsaloo on the Bomb King, not finding the stun that he would have hoped for on the King Bomb, and now the zone commences here for Sour Team, but they got to be careful. This is what we've seen, where they bite off too much, and they end up getting staggered in the opposite direction. Does not look like they're going to make the same mistake this time. They find 3 kills now. ClownFiesta on the back foot, and they do not have a lot of time for a retake.
75%, but Inara is all alone here. That would have killed Simsaloo if Perdo didn't find the lethal bolt earlier on there. And this game's over. Dread Serpent's on the point, and I want to take this time to actually commend Sheepa there. It's very easy as Torvald to just get into, like, you're Ninu and I'm Sheepa, and I'm just like this all game long. He recognizes that this fight is different this time around. He needs to transition. He makes a nice rotation over to Perdo to allow him to 1v1 that Ashe, and actually says, oh my god, now this is going to turn this fight around. And Ninu is so fine to just be on his own for a second. He kind of realizes, all right, my Torvald has to be somewhere else right now. That is the rotation that wins that fight there for me.
Well, lots of rotations, lots of fun fights in that one, and game 1 was certainly a fun one and an exciting one to break down. But to do that, let's send it back to the desk.
Thank you so much, guys. Game 1 goes away with Sour Team, so already our predictions are starting to veer a little bit off, and I would say that they had a very good grasp of how to play the Torvald well.
It was a very good draft for it as well, when being able to kind of facilitate everybody, but no one needed it, right? Like every single one of those champions looks good without a Torvald. Then you add Torvald in there, and Sheepa, and much like Nick said at the very end, had the wherewithal to recognize, I don't need to get Ninu right here.
Right.
Like up to that point, pretty much every fight was, if Ninu wins, then Sour Team gets it. If Simsaloo wins, ClownFiesta get it. That was very much a Sheepa cognizant, you need a shield right now, you'll win this fight, we'll win the game.
I mean, you look at the shielding numbers, too. It's not often that makes a big difference, but 300,000 shielding among Sheepa and Coriel versus about 60,000 shielding for ClownFiesta in total. I mean, it's 5 times more. It's at 4 to 5 times more. It's incredible the amount of actual defense that was able to come through on this team. They both had good lineups. You're absolutely right, but the way that it ended up manifesting was just so much more in favor of Sour Team in the long run, and over these types of moments that just would last again and again.
And very similar to what I had said kind of going into this game was, I mean, Sour Team had a draft that it's going to work.
Yeah.
And you know it's going to work. The only way to beat it is for ClownFiesta to step up and like play at that next level and just take them down. It had to be Simsaloo with a big amount of record and tons of plays being made. It had to be everybody on that team stepping up to be able to deal with the Torvald, whereas Sour Team, like, not to say that it was like all kind of like autopilot, but they had their success plan was make the draft work.
Right.
And most of that is, can Sheepa hit the shields on time and on the right target? And
they did a good job of that too. I mean, whenever Ninu got low, it was very much, here's a Torvald bubble after you've done your counter, here's when you're bubbling and in your billow, after to basically heal you up with a little bit from Jopi. I mean, this is why I really love the way that they're playing together. They were in sync, but they had a very hard lineup to pull off if you aren't, and they just were. They said, we're willing to be up for the task, and that's something that gives me a lot of confidence now. ClownFiesta, it's going to be a battle heading into this one. Game 2 is going to be very important. Giving Sour Team 2 games in a row, that would be tough.
Yeah, I mean, we've seen reverse sweeps in a best of 5, but they don't happen too often. It's not too much that you get down 2 steps and fight back 3 in a row. And when you go from a map like Jack Falls to a map like Frog Isle, like, I mean, again, very similar structure. There used to be a time where they were kind of the same map rotation, so like no matter what, you're going to be feeling it. Although, I will say the big thing about this is things that weren't as available on Jaguar Falls are, you know, more long-range ability champions. So Kinessa, Strix, Leon even, maybe going to be more prevalent here.
We'll see how they end up taking this draft and going about it themselves. It's, you know, it's on the day, too. It's a very flavor map, depending on whether you're really confident playing these snipers or not. And noticing that now the Khan and the Torvald is banned. That was the one thing that Sour Team, I thought, just to bring that back, did really well. They banned the Pip, which was very good for Simsaloo, but it was also just a space opener as well. So if you can ever counterban as well as open up space for something that you want, that's a great idea. If you have to ban something that also is something that you would not play or isn't good for the enemy team, just to open that up, then you're kind of almost more on the even lineup. It actually took away a legitimate option for them to be able to play. And so this is something that both teams decide to not go with. They're just taking away the Drogos here. And Ash will be picked up as well as the Inara.
Drogos is actually a curious ban to me, only because it's just kind of like, because Leon and Kinessa and Strix are so much more prevalent on Frog Isle, it's like, what's Drogos going to do? But it's a Simsaloo pick. And that's really what it comes down to.
So the same thing, really.
Pip is there, all of a sudden it's going to be dangerous. If you have Drogos there, it's going to be dangerous in the right hands, and I think ClownFiesta have the right hands.
So the Eevee Ash is an early 1-2 pick, knowing that Eevee wards away from the Kinessa Strix, and it also gives it an opportunity for Simsaloo to now be not only counter-banned with the Drogos, but then counter-picked with the Eevee as well, taking that away almost as a pseudo-ban because he can't play either of those. It's going to be interesting to see where ClownFiesta put him. I mean, obviously the Pip is open now.
Yeah.
But that's not traditional on this map.
Yeah, not the best Frog Isle pick up for Pip. Like, I mean, he can work, and you can make him work on this map, but
I'm thinking Zen.
You have to dance a very delicate dance to make him work. And Simsaloo has that capability. We've seen him do it on several other maps, but it's being able to pull it out here against an Eevee might not be the best decision.
I mean, I think he might Zen. Honestly, I think a Talus could be something that's interesting. We haven't seen Talus picked up a lot. He has a really good way as a flanker to do a ton of damage, have a ton of shred, but also go through after round 1 once he gets his ultimate through that hard spot in Frog Isle, which is just the bowl, and make it to the other side and aggress onto any backline targets. He does fine against the Eevee matchup. He can blink back the same way she can, but no, it's going to be the Maeve Leon. So this will be interesting. I would assume that this is Maeve Simsaloo. And I mean, this can work.
And not only can it work, but it's really good in this scenario where maybe you're not looking for the Eevee. Like, Maeve is not looking for a boxing match against Eevee. Maeve is looking for I can kill Fernando, I can kill Ash, I can kill Saris very, very quickly.
Wow.
And again, if you rip out the core of Sour Team, it puts a lot more pressure onto those carries to perform at a next level.
And the Maeve is interesting because they say, we know you might go Kinessa. Sour Team say, we like what we see. We're still going Kinessa. So that's Frog Isle for you. It's Dave's birthday. It's his favorite map. things are all lining up here as we head into Game 2 of ClownFiesta versus Sour Team.
You got a free chicken sandwich, too. I mean, anything else we can do for you?
My feet are a little sore.
All right, bring them over here. Come on now.
Frog Isle, though, outside of being my favorite map, certainly an exciting map and an interesting map, and I think I like it because it's such an ebb and flow type of thing, at least when two closer teams are fighting against each other. And I think the matchup to watch here is the Mave and the Kinessa. Obviously, the Kinessa excels on a map like this. But the thorn in her side, per se, is when you find a good sneaky flank, like on the side of ClownFiesta, rather. Yeah, I have the Mave in this case.
Let's pull up these cards. Let's just take a look here at what Simslo is running. Street Justice. So after using Pounce, some damage reduction. A little bit of a balanced breakfast here, if you will. Damage reduction while using Prowl as well. So a lot of damage reduction in the loadout, and the loadout cards have made. That's kind of always been her style. A little bit of extra speed, some health, and just a teensy-weensy bit of sustain. And the rest should be taken care of by the base kit. I'm excited to see what they do with Midnight on Frog Isle. I think Midnight is one of the stronger ultimates there, and Fernando narrowly charges out away from that Pounce that would have otherwise killed him.
And the survivability in her kit, not keeping her alive through that one. Too much damage. Ovim finds Perdo, though, on the back side, so it's a bit of a 1-for-1. Both of the people in that matchup falling, but Sour Team on the upper hand here. 84% for them. And a small advantage will turn in to a point number 1 for them here. Ooh. Ninu doing his best to try to find some angle there. Bolka predicts it, calls it out, down into the gourd he goes. And Simsaloo finding his spot back up here on the side. Being a little bit of a pest here onto the Fernando, helping ClownFiesta zone out the rest of Sour Team, and they are low. About half health bars here. Sarah's trying to top everyone off before they go in. Some dashes coming out as well. The retake attempt certainly is about to be on here. Nice convergence onto the side of the Leon, but they aren't able to find the follow-up damage either. The Mave deep in the back line right now. Certainly she's going to go down, and she does. Perdo, Sheepa finding one. Simsaloo, though, before she goes down, finds Perdo. Now some low health bars on the side of Sour Team. ClownFiesta, 99%, and a small touch here will put them on top.
Got to dance between the shield. Sheepa's running shoulder bash this time around. 90% on that ultimate. He needs it. 94 and climbing. This would be huge. 98. One more shot. 99. One more shot. He's going to get it. No, he dances out of the shield. Sheepa, what are you doing? No!
Oh, that's so unfortunate, but he did buy enough time for the rest of his team to come back, but 2 kills. There's only 3 members of Sour Team. The Fernando's going to be the only one who will likely find a touch. He does find the touch. Overtime ticks away. Now he's going to be the lowly survivor here from the rest of Sour Team, and down he goes. And ClownFiesta finding themselves a point. That was such unfortunate timing there for the Ash. 1 tick away. 98 became 99 and didn't become 100.
Every other shot was 2%, right? And so what I think happened there is he shot on 98 and started to back up because he wanted his ultimate to actually land on the point, right? But at that point, it just wasn't coming, and it wasn't coming, and it wasn't coming. He's waiting for the time spooling to send him over the edge. And there was a damn dome shield in his way, so he couldn't fire that last shot and get it there. Barrick strikes again. Unfortunate down the stretch there, but to be honest, I'm surprised it was that close because it didn't really feel like Sour Team was really killing anyone that whole fight.
It was close, and they do pop some of those ultimates here on the backside of that initial point capture. So down 1-0, but find themselves some space here. 1.5 minutes left. Payload hasn't done much moving right now. ClownFiesta, Erase, and the rest of them finding some kills here. Those executes coming out from the Mave doing huge damage. Saris is the last one alive here in the back line after the EV fall. She's going to back off. She's going to reset herself. Sour Team on the back foot for the first time here on this defense. And Simsaloo not letting her rest even for a moment, getting up into Jopi's face. And down goes the Saris, at least for the moment.
It's tough because Saris does have that wind-up of getting into shadow travel, and usually you start it when you're in trouble, when you start to fall below half HP, but that's exactly when Maeve can execute you. It's a character you don't have to play against very often, and it's a mechanic that is very unique and doesn't really, come out in a lot of other ways. So it's something that these players are just not going to be used to right now. And at the moment, I feel that that's where Maeve's viability is balancing off the fact that she has a unique mechanic and is not picked up very often, so it's tough and not comfortable for people to play against.
And that's tough there from Sour Team. A missed convergence from the Saris. Not that it maybe would have made any difference anyway. But Convergence coming up just a little bit short there, so that'll be down at least for the next point fight. But ClownFiesta finding their footing after going down in game 1, finding themselves up 2-0 here on Frog Isle. And the Kinessa not having the impact maybe they would have looked for, 3-5-3, so certainly not.
Neither is the Eevee, 0-5.
Yeah, wow.
Tough.
Neither is the Eevee. So, I mean, Bordeaux at least has found some sort of impact. Eevee's found herself a few assists, but not really what you would be looking for. Meanwhile, Erase doing huge things up there on the Leon, 7 streaking, top of the damage charts. Samus, despite dying a lot, top healing.
Maybe this changes a little bit with Cauterize 2 coming online. At the moment, I don't love running into Simsilo trying to take out this Maeve. It's a pretty small, hard-to-hit target for Eevee. Erase and Bolka are good, but they're standing so close to each other most of the time that there's a lot of healing coming through, a lot of counter-engage damage as well. Leon is not the greatest matchup either for Eevee. Here's the Midnight, though. I want to see what they do with the complete blackout of vision from Sour Team.
Frog Isle becomes nighttime just for a moment. Not too much follow-up on the back end of it. The Dread Serpent onto the back line actually spells a dead Ovim, so that's the Inara who's down. So a little bit of utility gain from the use of those ultimates. Oh no, excuse me, the opposite side.
Yeah,
they lost some utility for the use of those ultimates. Sour Team actually lives through the Midnight, lives through the Dread Serpent, find themselves some kills now. Perdue and Sheepa combining for a 1-2 punch there, dropping Please Do. Dropping the Barrack on the backside. Now Sour Team with that fast cap enabled, they get enough dismounts here.
Oh yeah.
They could be on their way to their first point.
That's the 1-2 punch there, baby. Perdue hits the fully charged shot onto Erase, and then like half a second after, Ninu's Ice Staff connects and claims the life of Leon. Simsilo just runs right into it. Too easy at that point. Barrack's gonna do his little bowling ball dance around here on the objective, but the superior character will reign supreme at the end of the day.
Ninu, making sure we don't forget about him, had a bit of a rough couple first times. Nice. Nice wall there for himself. I don't think he would have died on the back end of it. Well, he might have. Not the Enlightenment damage, but the follow-up damage there from Erase certainly would have cleaned up Ninu. And he's starting to find his footing now.
Oh, yeah.
He had a tough time in that first round. He's on a 5 streak now. Doing better here on the second half of this map. Certainly making his presence felt. Sour Team find themselves point number 1. Now have 2 minutes on the clock to get this one pushed through. Fully streaked out. All 5 members finding their groove here inside number 2 on Frog Isle. And just poke now coming out from Simsilo, trying to find the damage where possible. Some executes potentially. Once these members get too low, the Immortal comes out as a response, so baits it out. Simsilo does die for those troubles though. 3 kills. Now cascading is the kill feed in favor of the red team, and that's a clean 4 swipe here. Inara's going to be the last to fall. Make it a clean 5, and Sour Team rolling.
From 0-5 to an 8 streak here. Ninu definitely coming alive in the second round. Perdue on a 12 streak, so both of the backliners for Sour Team having a much better go of things. I will say, the front line and the support kept Sour Team alive there. Jopi, Sheepa, and Coriel were the only reason that Sour Team didn't get obliterated in that first round. They did a really good job at keeping the glue together, so to speak. Now it's tough. Simsilo's starting to get some traction in the backline again, but he's always trading, man. They're making sure to punish his heavy rotations into the backline. There's just nobody on ClownFiesta that can keep up with that character.
The Dread Serpent sent Ninu running, didn't die on the back end of it, keeps himself alive, and instead trades one back. Now his eyes are set on the Damba. The Slither is used. Ooh, very close there from Ninu. Be careful. Simsilo comes in, finds the kill. Sheepa, though, trades out onto the Barrack. So close now, 50 seconds left. But the payload is moving forward, and there's a hard zone coming out here from Ash. Maeve going low on the backside as well. She's at 125 health. Is there any follow-up damage? Not at the moment. Erase drops. Now the Inara's the one to deal with here. Blasted back. That's so unfortunate for her. She's able to get back. A lot of that crowd control is now back on cooldown. So many shields here to deal with. The Dome Shield specifically coming out now from the Barrack. And stunned up is the Ash. Simsilo cleaning that one up. She's finding some damage, but she ends up getting cleaned up by Ninu. The Enlightenment doesn't find its target, but Sour Team's health bars are so low. They have 15 seconds left to get this one pushed through. Saris is going to look to get them topped off. Probably have one more chance of getting this one pushed in, but Erase finding Perdue is not going to help their cause at all.
He just doesn't miss a shot. Perdue, you could see he was ready to challenge it. He was charging that shot. He wanted to go at this Leon, but just couldn't get it. Ninu will get the touch. Ninu will start the overtime, but down a man here, down 2 men, about to be down 3 if they're not careful. This is looking rough for Sour Team.
Looking rough. Certainly cleaned up here after Sheepa goes down. ClownFiesta find themselves the defense, and Sour Team, that's surprising considering how good Sour Team looked on that second half push there. The driving force, excuse me, really Ninu on this Eevee, finding the kills. A little bit of luck there that Simsilo comes running essentially into his arms. But Sour Team found their footing, found some of that offensive pressure, found some of that front line presence they were looking for, and found themselves a point. But ClownFiesta able to answer back on defense here, makes it 3-1 game point.
A small hair to split that could have been a big impact was the knockback onto Inara there for Sheepa. He hits the shoulder bash and sees, okay, well, she's going flying here. She doesn't have any resilience built yet. She doesn't have her CC immunity up right now. If he took his time on that kinetic burst and rotated a little bit more to throw her all the way back and out and so she wouldn't have hit any walls or anything, they actually would have converted that payload there. Like I said, small hair to split, but that could have actually been a big difference maker there in that round. It's back to kind of the same thing here. Fully charged shots for Peridot, forcing the Inara to peak or just be melted, and it's going to be the latter.
She's going to choose her way of death, and it is going to be Coriol on the Fernando. Simsalou, though, continuing his tear through the Sour Team lineup. Finds a kill onto Sheepa, but in the meantime, Sour Team with the fast cap enabled have climbed up to 74% relatively quickly here. The Inara needs to be found here. She gets a touches, Simsalou, but Simsalou's going to go down, trading himself out for a touch. Here comes the Dread Serpent, finding a little utility, not way too much. Ninu trying to find some damage, but damage coming back on the side of the Barrack. Both of them going solo, and Barrack comes out on top of that one, but a double kill from Peridot, making a triple. Finds himself 3, and Sour Team firmly in control. Sour Team find themselves point number 2 on Frog Isle. And that is Peridot just not missing shots.
That will play indeed. Great stuff there from the sniper behind the scope. Don't get to see this guy play this pick too often these days. He's been on a lot of different teams, but has never really filled the role of the sniper. That's normally been Bugsy, one of his longer time teammates. Played kind of that interim hit scan, played a lot of Andro, played a lot of Leon when she started to kind of hit the mark, and then of course Cassie is something that, as a extreme veteran of Paladins, Peridot has always kind of been near and dear and close. 3-2 now on the scoreboard. Sour Team with a chance to tie if they can get this one through.
Unable to do so last time. They were, I mean, a hair's width away of going in there. Some potential butterfly effect stuff going one way or the other. An early Ice Storm comes out, gets a little bit of damage in onto the side of ClownFiesta. Maybe not the impact they were looking for. Maybe just buying themselves some space. The Inara is low. Damba's going to look up to get some healing in on her, but it's not going to come in time. Ninu cleans it up, and now they have a little bit of space to work with here, but the one-on-one against the Barrack again, walls herself off, keeps herself alive, but erased. Simsalou finding some kills on the backside of this one in the meantime. Ninu's going to elect to reset the fight, get himself out, and get the rest of the Sour Team behind him. And it's unfortunate. It almost seems like on the side of Sour Team, it's just either one person overextends and gets picked, gets executed by Simsalou, and the rest of the fight sort of just falls apart from there.
Yeah, they're doing well when they stick together. When Simsalou can't isolate his targets, he's definitely been struggling noticeably, especially against this Ashe, right? She's rarely going to miss. It's not a ton of damage, but she's not really going to miss. She's going to keep, you know, cauterizes and things like that applied to this little Simsalou into the ice block. Not low enough to execute, so Simsalou has to back up, and now he is out of cooldowns.
Well played there from Ninu, making sure that he keeps himself alive through that execute. The payload is stalled out for a moment. I mean, 33 seconds left. We see how fast it can move. I mean, one team fight can get the payload moving and get it pushed into the base. So not necessarily do or die right now for Sour Team, but Ovim dropping Peridot, that really stalls this one out with 20 seconds left. It's going to be tough to get this one pushed through. And now Simsalou, beautiful shots there. Not really what you talk about. Not really what you talk about on the side of Maeve. Nice shots. You normally see the executes up in their face, just like that. Finding a double now. Ashe is going to be next. Getting blasted back though with 0 seconds left. ClownFiesta is going to find themselves the defense and look to make it 4 here on this point fight.
I think that comes down to a little bit of Sour Team just being a bit afraid to commit in that round, because if they commit hard, don't get what they want out of that. Even if they do get what they want from that, it's that situation where you're in a spot with no ultimates against a team that has 3 points, so they're going to keep that half comeback mechanic available for themselves. Keep most of their ultimates in hand as well. 92% is the only one not fully charged. So ClownFiesta, you know, will have to kind of fight this one. A bit of an uphill battle for them. Full resources and the half cap on their side.
All the items coming online at this point is just sort of buy it if you can. Maybe one respawn available, at least for the side of Sour Team.
What a ragtag bunch of items for Saris. Bulldozer, Resilience, Nimble, and Morale. Not bad buys in this case, but it's such a random assortment. Whatever the situation calls for, I guess.
Hey, that's 200 IQ. Us mere mortals can't understand the buys. The Midnight comes out, blocks out a little bit of vision.
Lieutenant Dan, I can't see.
I can't see. Blocks out the damage. That's not what you want. If you're Purdue, you need to be able to see, especially at those longer ranges. Some kills not really coming out in favor. Red and blue now lighting up on the kill feed, so a couple for each team. The Ice Storm as well, going on to the points, going to get Barrack low. The Ice Block comes out for Ninu, keeps himself alive. Ooh, nice prediction there. Needs to find one more onto the Maeve, but the Maeve finds herself some healing, and so does Ninu. So the one-on-one engagement there doesn't come out in favor of either one, but Ninu, wow, those were beautiful. Predicting the Maeve. Please do finds one onto Sheepa here. And too many deaths here for Sour Team. That's 2 down, 93% and climbing here for ClownFiesta, and certainly all buttoned up for them. They find themselves the win on Frog Isle.
Yeah, great stuff there. I think the Maeve just did a good bit to kind of throw it off. It wasn't really a landslide outside of that first round. It was, Sour Team started to figure it out a little bit. Slightly stronger frontline presence, and anytime Simsilo was able to navigate and get one of those assassinations, great use of the Midnight as well. That ultimate is very, very impactful, but we just don't get to see it very often.
Don't get to see it very often, but we saw it there, and it paid off in a big way. ClownFiesta answering back with a win here on Frog Isle, but let's send it back to the desk to break it down.
Thank you, guys. It was a very interesting showcase of the Maeve, which we haven't seen very often in the last iteration of, I guess, our pro leagues. But now she's shown why she can be very effective in the right situation.
And again, being able to showcase, I think, her execute and why it's such a high-value thing to be able to go through. I mean, when you're looking at, again, Simsaloo, the 105,000 damage, that's one thing. But it's also looking at how many times he was able to kill off Coriel, how many times he was able to kill off Sheepa. Like, getting rid of those presences around the point to make sure that his team could push forward made a big difference. 16 and 10, died maybe a little more than he wanted, but those 16 eliminations were big.
Yeah, and I think, the impact that he had also, not just in, he did die quite a bit. I mean, 10 deaths is a lot, but it doesn't mean that it didn't go without success as far as distracting what Ninu was doing. Ninu clearly was feeling himself on that EV. He had some great shots. He had a couple moments when they were able to actually push, and Sour Team got that the ability to kind of go ahead and almost get it to the end where it was that 3-1, kind of almost failed right at the edge. Ninu was on a 7-8 streak, hitting all of his shots, so the Maeve was an odd pick, but I think it worked out so well. Not only distracting the EV, kind of being a hit scan type of projectile where it's so fast, but once you understand how it works, it can almost serve the same purpose. And it was a lot harder for Ninu to actually hit Maeve and Simsy than it was for Simsy to respond back.
And one of the interesting things about Maeve, and specifically how her shots work, like, if you launch an EV blast, it's just going to go point to point, like wherever you happen to fire, but it's going to take a little bit of travel time. So like you kind of have to predict movement. With Maeve, because not only is it fast, like you said, but you throw 2 of them at a time.
Yeah.
I can kind of go, well, you're here, and then you're going to walk here. So if I shoot and go dung dung,
exactly,
I'm going to hit you with both daggers, like as you move. And so Simsaloo just showcasing a lot of good tracing techniques with that, as well as, again, the execute being able to have like that big effect on the front lines. Like, it's just a good juggle.
And to be super clear, it is not hit scan actually, but it is just it
just goes like,
yeah, it's a pretty fast
really
projectile
fast.
that it takes a lot of training and time to get really good at, but once you do, it can almost serve the purpose of a fast projectile the way Cassie can. She's not really hit scan, but she can hit a Drogoz. You wouldn't want to count on it forever, but when you talk about the matchup with the Eevee, it definitely gave Simsy some way to interact with her, whereas the Eevee's kind of almost just a little bit of a slower projectile, kind of more praying that these shots are going to hit versus knowing that they will. Shattered Desert, that's our map for game number 3. It's all tied up, 4-3, 4-2. Only 1 point separates these teams, and not even a map at this point. So Shattered Desert will start to veer things one way or the other. This is a pretty crucial one because whoever wins this going to be at set point afterwards, and the other team's going to have to get 2 in a row, and that seems like a tall task considering how evenly matched they are.
And this one is, if you go back to last set and you're looking at Ascension Peak, this point fight is very similar to Ascension Peak in terms of its layout, the statues. Like, a lot of it has the same. There's a little less above you, but being able to dance around the statues as using them as cover and still be in the point range, being able to have those ramps that are leading up, like you typically can see all the damage that is going to come at you. It's where the push gets a little awkward because there's just so many different avenues to walk in and out as either the defending or the pushing team that you really don't know where the aggression's going to come from. So I'm curious to see how Sour Team and ClownFiesta are going to draft to this.
So am I. I'm excited for this one because as we kind of saw with Na'Vi, and there was this conversation around, you know, and the Pittsburgh Knights, I believe, as well. They didn't know how to play in their mind, or what a lot of people thought, how to play Shattered Desert. Then they figured it out, and they said, we definitely are good at this map. We already knew, but we just didn't execute it well. Na'Vi and Phoenix are talking about how you have to kind of rotate. It's kind of like this merry-go-round, so to speak, of playing this map. So it'll be interesting to see how they do that. We've seen the Grover be a huge part of it, and this game, Grover's not banned, so I'd expect him to get picked up, but he's not even picked up in the top 2 so far.
That's, I think, the most insane thing I've seen. I don't think I've seen Grover, like, it's like Makoa. Like, if Makoa makes it through and Makoa's not first pick, you're like, what's going on here?
Ninth
if
Makoa.
Grover makes it through, the only time he's not going to be first pick is if there's a Makoa that is available. So him not being picked up until just now is a really big deal. And I wonder if Sour Team see that and they go,
I think.
Oh.
Yeah. I don't think they do that. I think Sour Team are looking at the way that Zen's performed today for Ninu, which is already really good. But also, if you are playing this clump, if everyone's grouping, if everyone's rotating, Yomi Zen is a really good way to break through that. It's a ton of burst, and the more value it gains is based on how many people are standing near one another for that swing to pass through. So I like this choice, and it also allows them to keep Jopi on something that he's comfortable with. He's been having a great day on Damba. I mean, why would you adjust that? I can see that true. And now they can flex their DPS a little bit later.
And being able to grab this
Here's the
Buck coming through. And this is, again, it's one of those things that I'd be like, man, this is crazy. Except that I just saw them use it last week with success. Granted, it was a different map. They were playing that on Warder's Gate, but it still looked really good. And I feel like that's Sour Team saying, you know what? We're keeping track of where Buck is. Like, we're looking at these other flanks that are quote-unquote not in meta and making sure that they can still be worked.
These are some very hard champions to kill, even though they're flanks. They're some of the tankiest damage characters in the game by way of abilities and just resets in the Buck and the Zen. But the Pip, the side of a very good Pip player. Let's send it back to the Shattered Desert and see who takes the lead in this crucial set.
Shattered Desert it is. Thank you guys on the desk. Looking forward to this game number 3 here. Some fun lineups, a fun map to look forward to. Buck, you don't see that one every day. I think it was a 10% pick rate, but that's in EU PML. So
I think it's been all Perdo. I think he's really the only guy that's picked it. He's been around. It's just I think a factor of he's been around for metas where Buck was first pick or banned in a lot of cases. So he knows his way around the character, and when a character falls, especially like a Maeve or something like that, when it falls to niche viability, sometimes it comes down to that. It takes an old school player who played it when it was very strong or even overpowered to learn every facet of that character and be able to make it work when it's not exactly OP.
And we've seen it to some mixed results this season. We've seen some good Buck games and less impactful, Buck games. At least at the moment, he's kind of hovering around that outside Shattered Desert 2, sort of, a newer map. Of course, these teams have played on it. They've practiced on it a good bit. It'll be fun to see how sort of a traditional flanker like Buck makes his presence felt. Unfortunately there, it's going the opposite direction. Simsaloo cleaning him up. Perdo going down on the back side. And tons of damage coming out from this Pip, and that's something that they touched on the desk. Maybe not expected, not commonly seen, I guess, on a map like this. But Simsaloo certainly finding his stride early on, and it's to the effect of a Sour Team, or excuse me, a ClownFiesta retake here. 96 becomes 99. And 99 becomes point number 1 here for ClownFiesta. So just some targeted aggression. Really Simsaloo the one, the driving force there on that offensive push. Equals ClownFiesta going up 1-0.
Yeah, he's a nutty Pip. I mean, that's no secret at this point. And the most critical thing he does there is he catches Perdo rotating to try and slow their support down. Grover was kind of coming back, and Perdo was just going to solo kill him again and starve this lineup for healing. But nice slow comes out there, and a ton of extra damage from Leon as well. They end up actually killing Perdo. Really, you saw him hopping along in that Catalyst blast slow, just trying to keep it going, but he could not. And Simsaloo really kind of winning that fight for his team because, I think, of that play.
Tries to keep himself alive there, unable to do so. Sheepa finding a couple Jopi adding one as well. So the payload's stalled out, at least for the moment. Although we've seen on Shattered Desert, I think it got played a couple times in the PPL this past week, maybe once before in the PML. Can't quite remember. But what we have seen is it's a very quick kind of turnaround map in that one team will suddenly just aggress and find tons of damage, tons of pressure. If there's enough of a wipe, the payload can go through very quickly. I mean, the conversion from this bend here, where a lot of the team fights happen, to that final point is not huge. The banner comes down, but right into a Dread Serpent, so a bit of unfortunate timing. Actually, the banner got reset there, so she still has her ultimate. She got stunned. I think she got Dread Serpented right as the banner was about to come down, so she keeps her ultimate up, which, you know, could be good or bad depending on how this fight goes, but Simsalou trying to find the damage, does onto Coriel, so down goes the Khan. Sour team is down 2 members right here. The Dome Shield comes out, going to keep Barak up and alive, and the Xin on the backside just for a little bit, but like I said, this payload is so close to going through. Some of the kills coming out here could mean ClownFiesta are able to push it through with no problem. Perdeaux trying to find some damage, but the long-range Buck not really working out in his favor right now. Now he's got a bit of a 1-for-1 with Simsy. He gets the short end of that stick, or he gets the long end of that stick, I should say, with 25 health. The sustain helping to keep him alive. ClownFiesta get nipped in the butt, at least at the moment. The Inara stagger, I always love seeing that. Coming out a little bit, 10 seconds left.
Into exile you go.
Away you go.
Shattered Desert boy.
Because you can go into that sand off the map,
yeah,
but I think it just slows you down. So it's actually a really long walk to try to get to the edge there where you would eventually fall off. Sour team find themselves a defense. And it was an interesting fight. Some unfortunate timing there, maybe on either side. Please Do still does have his ultimate up. Got Dread Serpented right. He's about to slam it down, but Sour team coming out on top there, finding themselves up. No, tied, 1-1.
Decent amount of ults for either side there, and that fight between Simsalou and Perdeaux was pretty crazy just because the amount of healing and damage reduction and damage flowing either which way. I couldn't have called that for the life of me who was going to live there. Ended up actually being a battle shout from Coriel that kept Perdeaux going. 25 HP to spare, not even close. Ultimates, like I said, online and a lot of items as well. Perdeaux, the only one unable to hit the Cauterize 2 mark there. And that's as a result of, you know, just not being effective as some of the other flanks on the playground.
That's true, and this is the spot that he's kind of favored this whole time, hiding behind these pillars, kind of poking out, finding some damage, but ClownFiesta not wasting any time. A nice Evil Mojo from Simsalou finds 2. He might fall on the backside, though, and he does, but he'll be okay to trade out 2-for-1. Perdeaux's got to keep himself alive here, and he does just that. Flies out, can heal himself up, but ClownFiesta finds some early aggression, convert that into an early presence on the point. That was a really nice Evil Mojo there from Simsalou. Found a couple targets, really bunched up, cleaned up the damage on his own. ClownFiesta retake here. Now he's going to try his hand again at a 1-for-1 here against the Buck. Some damage, some healing coming out for either side. One more shot would do it, but Buck gets himself out. He gets the upper hand in that one. Potentially the upper hand on this one. Ninu, I don't think expected Simsalou to be around behind him.
Long distance Dread Serpent is going to fear away a couple. 87% try to get the shoulder hug there with the spike, but actually Simsalou jumps into the Dread Serpent there, fears himself, gives Ninu a little bit of a gift there, and Ninu is able to skirt away unharmed.
99% and ticking away here. The end of this fight could spell the end for Sour team on this offense. The Enlightenment comes up a little bit short. Finds Sheepa though. Perdeaux cleans up Volca, so that's the healer now down for the side of ClownFiesta. Perdeaux's got to keep himself alive, but he's not able to do so. Simsalou's back. He's respawned. He's pouring out damage now. Khan is going to be the next one to fall after that shield goes down, and just like that, he does. So ClownFiesta trying to find that necessary damage. You got a Xin whirling around in front of you. Barrett comes out as well, throwing down that shield. There goes the spite onto the Leon. The heal comes out, though, keeps her alive. Xin is so low right now. Simsalou's trying to find the damage. The Evil Mojo comes up for the second time in this fight. Please Do finds 3. Barrack make that the 4th now on Sour team, and ClownFiesta win in a big way to make it 2-1.
This is crazy. I actually kind of want to look at the healing charts here to see what exactly is Simsalou doing here. It's only 9,500, but that's potentially, in my opinion, like important 9 lives saved. Right. He is bailing people out of clutch situations. And this is, just to clarify, the healing there for Khan and Pip, it only counts on a teammate. Self-healing doesn't matter, it doesn't count on this chart in particular. It's only healing that you do to teammates. And it's tough to say that, you know, the healing is the most impactful thing that he's doing, because the amount of damage he's also contributing to these fights is leading to the amount of ultimates he's getting, which is leading him out to, you know, he's getting the kills off of those. So it's really becoming a big, multifaceted problem that Sour Team have got to find the answer to, and I don't know if they'll be able to in time before this game is over.
I mean, you said it. I think Evil Mojo was up twice. I mean, that fight was pretty long and drawn out. But he found a nice double kill on Evil Mojo to start off the fight, and then found a nice setup here for ClownFiesta. Queen's up 4, and in an almost instant sweep here, ClownFiesta are looking to push this one through, and it wasn't really on the back of anything. Ultimate's still up and available. They just found the damage. They found the pressure, wiped Sour Team, and pushed it through.
We're still seeing this map evolve, and, you know, it feels very, skirmishy.
Right.
A lot of times these guys are pretty much in arm's reach of each other, which is part of the reason Grover is, I think, being pretty effective here. But there's so much AoE punish on the side of ClownFiesta, right? Even if you're looking at Leon, Leon's right-click hits everyone on her screen. Leon's presence hits everyone that's in a line. There's so much, and then, of course, Ash and Pip, the actual blasters on this team. There's so much that can punish that stacking, the clumping. Perdo is really struggling here, 1-7 on the Buck. It's a bit of a niche pick. It's an older school, and now we're maybe seeing why that is.
Not finding the impact he maybe would have hoped for. You see him getting the shorter end of the stick against Simsaloo on a couple occasions, although Simsaloo certainly having the item advantage in a lot of those fights, so potentially not a fair one-for-one trade, at least initially. Ninu, a little bit quieter on the Zin this time around, finding some damage onto Leon. Nice, blocking it off, finds the kill. Raze goes down through the Enlightenment. 140 health there on Ninu. Evil Mojo comes out again for Simsaloo, but there's no follow-up damage coming out from it. Sour Team drops a couple, get themselves in control here, and they are on a roll. And they're retaking this point in a big way.
Ninu lives with nothing. Clean outplay onto the Leon, as well as finally the Evil Mojo only hits one and doesn't kill that one, whereas as opposed to last round where it hits two and they both die. So very, different style around here. Perdo's going to try and keep the lid on this bottle, but Ash rips through up over the top with the very, theatrical animation, but can't get it done. Can't get there in time. It's a Sour Team offense.
Sour Team will be fine to take that. Sure, you maybe get a couple kills on the back end of it for us. We need to go back. We need to spend our credits anyway. Please do. Trying to stay alive. Perdo cleans that one up, so they actually reverse it. Some ultimates coming out now on the side of ClownFiesta, but not really able to find the impact they were hoping for. They lose the point, don't find the kills. They only have one ultimate available now going into this defense. Sour Team does the same, though, so it's not like they have a massive ultimate advantage here. Erase trying to find the damage onto Buck this time around. Does not do it, though. Sheepa kills Erase. Please do drops Perdo as well, so there's a little bit of an answer back from the side of ClownFiesta, but Sour Team finding their footing in a great way here on this offensive push. Please do finally helping Simsaloo clean up Coriol, stalling out this push just a little bit.
Ovum is walking down this barrack, and that's part of what Ovum brings. He just knows when he's tanky enough, healthy enough, and when he can just start to walk people down as a Nara, and that is a sense that I don't have. I'm not going to pretend to have it. I think Tolkien did a really good job of that in the PPL, and again, it comes down to really good Nara players know when it's time to transition from sort of turtling into offense and start walking people down, because of your longevity, your sort of middle-of-the-road damage becomes a big problem as you are ever-present. You have almost permanent uptime in fights that you choose carefully.
Permanent uptime is the way to look at it on this one, especially a skirmishy map where fights could potentially get longer and more drawn out. We've seen some quick fights. Honestly, we've seen a little bit of both ways. We've seen a fight where Simsaloo is able to get off 2 Evil Mojos because the fight lasts so long. Yeah. And then last round when ClownFiesta pushed it through, the fight lasted about half a second. There was a clean sweep on the side of Sour Team in no time. So we've seen a lot of different types of engagements on this map. Perdo healing up through the damage there, gets himself out before falling, healing himself up as well, able to sort of self-sustain, doesn't necessarily need to be pocketed by a healer. One of the advantages of Buck, but Ninu hitting his shots here. Coriol as well, so that's 3 down now on the side of ClownFiesta. A couple answered back with on Sour Team. The Ash, she gets blocked off. She's trying to get up and over. She's able to do so, but gets stunned up anyway. Please do drops. ClownFiesta down to 3 defenders right now, but with 5 seconds left and the respawn advantage on their side, they're respawning so much closer. They could defend this one, keep it from going through, and they do just that.
Oh, wow, Coriol. Looked like he was close enough there, but I guess
he died just in between those checks before the overtime ticked away.
Good wall as well from Ovum. All good stuff. Fairly even on the KDs through this round, but that whirlwind of a first round there. ClownFiesta able to put themselves up just a little bit. Ninu managing to stay on top. Definitely, I think, one of the top tier Zen players out there at the moment. 8-5 and 8 for him. Perdo starting to do a little bit better. He was, I believe, 1-7 at the start of the round prior, so moving to 4-9. It's a 2-2 round for him. Better than negative. Baby steps.
Certainly better than negative.
He's got caught 3 now too, which is really good for him, and he'll be able to commit harder to kills now. A big struggle he's been running into is not being able to get really to an effective range for the shotgun. He's been only hitting for 150 to 250 on a lot of these shots. So if he can get up close and personal and really commit, he can do more.
Ultimate's starting to fly here. Pretty much everything on both sides getting popped out. The overpower helps Simsalou get locked up and cleaned up. Here comes the Spite. Does not find a kill on the back end of it. Instead, Ovim finds his second of the fight. Perdo cleans up Please Do as well. Now Raise answers back onto Perdo, and this fight is going so far back and forth. These final kills are going to determine who comes out on top. At the moment, looks like ClownFiesta have found their footing. Some low health bars on the side of Sour Team, but that Barrack 1v1 not going in the way of Raise. Both of them going to back off, get themselves healed up. But you got to look at 48%, 51% now and climbing in favor of ClownFiesta. Ninu dying, that is a big loss on the side of Sour Team. Simsalou coming back into this fight, finding that kill, and now looking to find some damage. Already 30% back onto his ultimate now, and we've seen these long drawn-out fights where 2 Evil Mojos are able to get off. 40% now, cleaning up these kills. He's going to have the ability to clean some up, but 90% now on the side of ClownFiesta. A good zone could spell the end here for Sour Team.
They're working their way in. 2 more kills come through for ClownFiesta. The healing is there. Grover's Whirlwind is ready to go, and I think they have everything they need to seal the deal. The dances begin.
The dance moves as well.
Yes, Sonara and her long dancer's legs. Pepper with hairs as well. Love the fight. I love the map. I like it. It's a very
fun one.
Different feel to watch. A lot of people are being vocal about how they feel like it's more of a team deathmatch type of style, but you could always ban it if you really hate that much. I think it brings definitely variety to the map pool.
No, and I think one thing to look at is the Buck maybe falling a little flat. There's certainly a lot to break down here in game number 3. Let's send it back to the desk to do just that.
Thanks a lot, Dave and Nick. Game 3 goes the way of ClownFiesta, and man, that was a close one. But that last point fight felt like it was just a slow, painful death.
Yeah, and honestly, I think it comes down to the fact that, and I hate bringing up Simsalou so much because I feel like that's pretty much all I've been talking about for ClownFiesta.
Yeah.
But it was kind of Simsalou, also having the Grover behind him, having that healing back.
I noticed that too.
Noticing, like, the Whirlwind was still available at the end, right? They didn't even pressure them enough to force out that amount of healing.
No.
When you have Ovim playing, his signature Inara, when you have Bolka on this Grover with the 137,000 healing, and you get Simsalou and Erase having the performances they did, I honestly don't know where you could have fought.
I actually think Grover was, like, drafted 6th or something.
Yeah, he was low.
He was low. He was in the second phase for the second team picking.
Yeah.
Which is crazy. And then they ended up winning. I mean, yeah, that made a lot of sense with the way this map wanted to be played. But I think I want to give credence to your first thought about Simsalou. It reminds me of when Creatives was the MVP for Na'Vi in their first World Championship, I believe 2017. What had happened? It was actually 2018 because I remember we had the same 2 World Championships in the same year, just in January and November. But what was great about his performance is that the way he flexed to Maeve, to Shaolin, to these other champions, it gave the flexibility to Na'Vi to be a team that you could never outdraft.
It's like, who are you going to ban?
I think that's what Simsy kind of does a little bit for ClownFiesta.
It's like, if you ban out Pip, okay, I'm going to grab this. You're going to ban out Drogos? Okay, I'm going to grab this.
Yep.
You don't ban either? I'm going to go for my Pip this game. And, like, he makes it work. And it was one of those things, I even wrote down the slash lines, because after the first round, just to show, like, how important it was, he was 4-2-6. Not insane, like, a good amount of assists, good amount of eliminations on his own. Erase was 5-2-2 on the Leon. And then on the other side, you get Perdo on that Buck. He was 0-4. Like, it's just not able to bring it. And that's the thing is, you kind of put your neck down, and you're like, you feel the executioner's axe, like, right there, and you're like, hey, if Buck works out really well, I get out of this free. Otherwise, I'm dead.
Buck is about out-sustaining, right? That's the one thing that I like. There were some bursts on the side of ClownFiesta, so Buck was good there, but who's he going to one-shot, two-shot, right? I mean, Nick talked about that 9K saving 9 lives. Against the Buck, that's even worse, because you've got 4 shots. So you're trying to make 2 of them, which would be enough to maybe kill somebody at low health with no healing, you want that to count. If you have to shoot somebody to half health and they get healed up to full health again as a buck, you don't have that type of DPS, that consistent pressure that's going to make them be able to not skirt around and regroup with their team. So it was a little bit of an odd last pick now that we saw that all translate, but they played it well. It was still a close game, but it ends up going the way of ClownFiesta. So Sour Team, the Pip the Grover ban. So weird. They literally didn't pick it after 2 phases, and now it's banned. Okay, now with the Pip as well, clearly they're shifting things to try to counter out what has been working for ClownFiesta, and they themselves, they have the Inara.
And I actually like this. Again, the goal at this point to me is get ClownFiesta uncomfortable.
Yeah.
And that's the same thing. I think we were even saying, just equating them to that Na'Vi during their World Champion. Like, make them uncomfortable. Do whatever you can. If that means banning out Simsalo, banning out Bolka so they have to go maybe a little deeper, take care of the things that are going to cause you the most trouble, and then scoop away Ovum, again, his signature pick, having that Inara on your side. It just makes things a little easier for you. Unfortunately, everyone on ClownFiesta, much like everyone on Sour Team, have a very deep champion pool. So you have to be very careful with this dance because you might end up kind of almost out-drafting yourself by trying to outplay them very early on.
I mean, and what was interesting to me is they took the Barrack instead of the Khan early. And that to me was like, I wonder what they're trying to set up here. So for me, I think maybe they're trying to not hold their show their hand, but then the Khan, I mean, it's not really showing your hand. You're still grabbing your tank. I think they just wanted to solidify their point tank. You could obviously go Barrack Ruckus, which is pretty consistent. And I also think that if you give them Inara Barrack, Khan Ruckus maybe doesn't have the same synergy as Barrack Ruckus because Barrack actually has shielding that can support your team. Although it can be played aggressively, the Ruckus really can now go out on his end. But it's the Ashe Barrack that they're going to run with and the Furia.
Furia is the one that is
interesting.
Like, out there, right?
Yeah.
I mean, I think we've seen her once in the past like 3 weeks, and like that was
today,
on
right?
Friday. No, I think it was during the PPL. Like, and
in
it's
this game,
like
one
game, one
die.
map she was played, and she did pretty decently, and it's just like, okay, cool. And then the next game she was gone again. It's just like, all right, people just forget about her. And it's just because when you look at like what Moldova can do, and I actually saw a post about this talking about the fact that pretty much every support in Paladins right now, for different reasons, is viable. It just depends on what you want to do. Furia is really, really good, but you have to be in that coordinated state. You have to be ready for it, and you have to hope that they're not going to be able to shut down her before they can get to it. Brett Marsh, I think, is one of the better maps because she can get away.
Very interesting. They're counting a lot on this Cassie Barrack to hold them down. The Khan and Nara into the Leon Zen as well. That's a dangerous composition for Sour Team, and they need it because they need to tie this up. Otherwise, it's all over, and ClownFiesta take it home. Let's send it down to your casters and get Game 4 started.
Thank you very much, Evan. He calls it dangerous. We might call it exciting. All one and the same. Lots of fun matchups to watch here on Bright Marsh. And certainly some high-powered team fights coming out, but they talked about it. Sort of the interesting aspect coming out on the red side over there is Bolka on Furia.
Yeah, I think it helps you bring up Ashe or Barrack or Fernando or whoever it is to try and contest against Adamba and Nara. There's so much staying power there, and it's really the only way to match it is to just pour copious amounts of healing onto it. 6,000-ish health per second. Poppy Bomb up to the high ground, some slow. Good for a nice little rotation. He smells something going on back here, though, and he is correct. There is a little Ninu floating around.
The young Ninu still on his mount, though. Still finding those quick rotations, still going all the way around, and now Simsaloo has to really be careful. He's lost him off to the opposite side, so he doesn't quite know where he is. The rotation ends up ending with him onto the Furia, and he doesn't miss any shots, and he billows into Erase, finds himself the double kill. The commander's grab sends Please Do flying, and Sour Team start off this fight in a big way. A couple sticks now on Ninu, keeps himself alive, getting himself out. Sheepa cleaning up the final kill of that little engagement, but Sour Team, some very targeted pressure leads to them 90% now on the point, and an easy zone turns this into point number 1 for them.
I feel like we needed the Jaws theme song there as Ninu just swims around in the back line, and then like the little Metal Gear Solid like exclamation point above Simsalow's head. Every time he thought he saw that Zen, but he was never able to dismount him. Ninu very, very patient there, and it does pay off. He basically wins the fight almost single-handedly, rips into the support, and then whirls through her to get the kill onto the Cassie that was already poked low. Great stuff there, and a very easy clap as a result.
it was just sort of turning their attention to a different place. I mean, you saw Simsalou keep turning around trying to check. All right, maybe the Zen is here now. Maybe he's over here.
And because of that, he's never effective on the front side of the fight either.
Right. An early Dread Serpent gets a couple out and running. The spite in onto Simsalou equals a double kill for Ninu here. Please do. Finding the first kill of the game now on the side of ClownFiesta, but Ninu continuing his shred now through the side of ClownFiesta. He's tanking up the turret. He's tanking everything up. The Furia heal is going to come out, top everyone off within that beam. So the offensive stalls out at least for the moment here. But Ninu, you can tell he's feeling himself again on this Zen. You saw it on Jaguar Falls a little bit earlier when he had Torvald at his back. Now he's just doing it all on his own, so great things coming out here for him. He's continuing his tear, finds Simsalou again. He's just not able to stay alive at the moment. The Enlightenment goes just a little bit wide. Cassie able to duck around the corner. Now the 1v1 commences. 200 health now on the side of Erase. He's going to fall as a result. Furia, she's going down as well, and Sour Team really hitting their stride here.
That was actually so funny. Perdo was trapped in that corner for like a year and a half. Just literally a wolf corner there, a starving wolf trying to stay alive and snapping his jaws at anyone that came close, and it was actually enough there. His Enlightenment was subpar, but that was literally just because he wanted to, I think, scare Cassie away, buy him some more time. He eventually does get the kill onto the Cassie, and Sour Team, after being in an awkward spot, managed to fight their way out with positive momentum.
They don't have as the ultimate advantage, at least at the moment. Here comes the overpower onto Perdo. It finds him and off the map. He goes, excuse me, please do. There's Dio's at the end of the name. They all kind of blend together after a minute. But he finds the kill. Ash goes down. Simsalou finding his footing again. Cleans up Sheepa on the backside of the fight. So ClownFiesta putting up a much better defense on this one than they did just a minute ago. 5 seconds left. Just need to get some zoning out. That's a good Grumpy Bomb. That could stun them up right as they're trying to get a touch. But the CC immunity keeps Inara up and active. So she gets a touch on it right now. The wall comes up as well. Coriol and Ninu, in the meantime, are cleaning up members of ClownFiesta. This could turn from a defensive stand into an offensive push for Sour Team.
Tried to throw Ovum out of the beam there, but looks like he's going to continue to be under pressure here. Looking for the counter into the Billow because he couldn't get it. Overtime still going. Kills still coming through for Sour Team, but are they going to come through fast enough?
That is the question. Coriol staying up. Ovum actually ends up dropping, so only one down now. Here comes the King Bomb looking for some stuns. Finds one. That's the Inara who gets stunned up, but there's no follow-up damage. They don't actually clean her up yet. So she stays alive at the moment, but Sour Team now starting to fall. A triple kill from Simsalou, and that'll just about do it. So the King Bomb finding a stun, finding a good offensive push, and Simsalou coming alive in a big way, able to defend the payload there.
Loved everything about that first opening sequence from Ninu. 7-1. He's going to throw up after the first round. 4-3 for Sheepa as well on the con. Pretty impressive stuff there. Part of that comes off the back of just overpowering people off the map, but that is what it is. Simsalou's 6-3 in that round.
You have to hand it to him. He had so much going against him in a lot of those fights. He kept just so much pressure on him and able to see his way through that and find himself the important kills. Really a big reason ClownFiesta was able to come on top there. Maybe a little trickery from Ninu coming out here again.
Almost hits Cauterize 3 after the first round.
Yeah.
So looking at, Perdo's Buck not getting even Cauterize 2 online after one round. Ninu having the opposite type of round. Flankers earn bonus credits by getting those killing blows. So having 7 after one round is definitely ahead of the curve. Furia in flame. And a lot more to boot is going to come out. ClownFiesta have not lost a single soul.
Simsalou smelled out Ninu, although I don't think Ninu was going to try for the same exact thing. But Simsalou said, you know what, this time I'm just going to nip this in the bud. I'm going to bounce around the back. I'm going to engage you one-on-one. He does just that, finds himself another kill on top of it. The zone now coming out, getting the dismounts. Ninu finding some damage now onto Please Do. Ash going to keep herself alive at 90%, 93%. Inara's going to try to get the touch in, 99%. They're not able to get the touch.
Yikes.
And the fight starts to break out on the back end. Simsalou cleans up the Inara, who's trying to get a touch there. Erase drops Perdo as well, and now ClownFiesta is rolling. Sour Team down 3. They lose the point fight. They're not unable to get a touch. And ClownFiesta find themselves some kills to boot.
Right, they miscalculate the touch, and then they're just overextended at that point. Easily punished. And it's an easy first break there for ClownFiesta. They're going to be able to get probably all the way to the windmill here before being slowed down. Erase assuming the position here. He's going to kind of set up the crossbow on the windowsill here. Start plugging away at some of these frontliners. Leon's going to try to pressure this out, but both of these sort of mid-rangers kind of want to be putting pressure on these frontliners, especially Cassie, given how effective she can be against those tanks.
Damn, Coriel on the Inara just eating too much damage down there, and she was really on her own. She had no help. I mean, everyone up top trying to do their best they can. She was just really down there for payload stopping point. I mean, it didn't end up paying off in the long run as 2 kills now come out. Simsel and Erase finding 1 for each of themselves. And they have some ultimates ready if they want them. But very low Ninu ends up dropping as well. And Nara is going to be the last line of defense. Yikes. Double kill for Simsy. I think it's his 3rd or 4th double kill, maybe even in this round. ClownFiesta.
Oof.
Oh, no. He won't mind that. But
easy for Paradigm.
13, 5, and 4. I think he was
point proven.
6 and 3 going into that last round. So
holy crap,
7 and 2, essentially 7, 2, and 4. Essentially,
if he didn't feed that last death,
right,
I mean,
yeah, right. 7, 1, and 4. Essentially, effectively 7, 1, and 4 was Simsaloo.
That's a hard round to beat. It's hard to stop a superstar like that. He's on an incredibly hyper carry type of character as well. So the Bomb King, definitely a good spot for him. Look at how far ahead on credits he is, even of his own teammate Erase, who's right behind him on damage. He's got the same level of Cauterize with a Haven and a Nimble to boot, and more credits in hand. So just doing so much damage, getting so many killing blows. 3-1 here. ClownFiesta have a chance to close out the set. Chain reaction damage is ripping Coriel to shreds.
Coriel falls. That's the Inara, and Simsaloo, I don't think expected that. He has to change his targets. Finds the Khan. A couple sticks is going to be a dead Khan. Perdo utilizing that Enlightenment to drop Simsaloo, get some of that cooldown refresh there, but that's 3 down now on the side of Sour Team. Make it 4 as Perdo falls, and this is the same exact thing we saw at the end, or at the beginning, excuse me, of the last round. They found 3 or 4 kills in a relatively short amount of time, and they were able to turn it around, and ClownFiesta looking to do just that. 84% now on the point. A little bit earlier this time, able to get a touch is Ninu. He's going to get himself out with the Billow, going to keep himself alive. His health bar is going kind of low. Erase finds Sheepa right into the stun, though. That's unfortunate. Simsaloo finds him. Coriel is the next to fall. ClownFiesta are well on their way to wrapping this one up.
Nice, and the Kalinka dance begins. Bomb King's whipping it around, all the emotes, and all 5 members of ClownFiesta in there ready to defend that one. Tooth and nail. This is a big game for them. Definitely a big win here. Off the back of Zarini getting called up to the PPL, they realize this is our moment. We got to rally and take the top spot in Europe now.
Well, ClownFiesta answering back in a big way, wrapping this one up 3-1. But to round out the series, let's send it back to the desk to break it down.
Thank you, guys, and big shout out to Zarini as well, not only showing his impact with Na'Vi, but also his absence and the impact when he's not on that team. ClownFiesta take the W instead, reverse the way things went the first time these two teams met, and now make the PML that much more interesting for the next time they will meet in, 4 weeks from now or something like that. I don't actually know. It could be next week. I don't know.
And, I mean, with the way things go, Ninu very early in that, I feel like that's where we saw the pressure switch, right? Yes, having Zarini was creating a lot. The minute he's gone, who's creating the pressure? It's almost all on Ninu. It felt like it was between him and Perdo. Obviously Sheepa is not going to be able to do too much, but you have these ex-PPL guys, and they are the two kind of afloat amongst the sea of their team, kind of flailing.
And we can also talk about the addition of Please Do as well to ClownFiesta, and that kind of that adding so much pressure for them too. It was kind of like I talked about that 4-point swing where you miss a layup, the other team makes theirs, and now you were tied, now you're down 4, right? All those things are very interesting to see how they've developed. This was a matchup we were all looking forward to this week, and it goes the way of ClownFiesta. Maybe easier than we would have thought, especially that last map, but it seemed to be tilting their way in this set thus far. We've got the standings for you in Europe. Things have been wrapped up for today's side of the broadcast in EU. It'll be 3-1, but this time ClownFiesta, having won so efficiently, are now ahead in a clear first place based on the differentiators there. If we would have seen another game, we would have actually seen them both tied 5-5 if ClownFiesta would have taken the same result but won a game later. So it shows you how important it is to win and win as big as possible in the PML.
And being able to take that, I mean, again, when you're looking at the map differential and only being a little bit ahead, you even go look to that map and you're like, I mean, that was systematic, towards the end. It's just they were wiping out the entirety of Sour Team, but if it was one more map, I mean, that just, I think, shows more how great the talent is in the EU PML as of late, because every set has felt somewhat contested.
Oh, yeah. Extremely contested, and a lot more still to come, ladies and gentlemen. Of course, that is Europe, but we have North America coming up very, very soon. We are going to take a very quick break. Gormizer and I will be shifting some locations here and getting Nick and Dave around in the action as well. And if you are tuning in, of course, it is Dave's birthday, so make sure to wish him a happy birthday in chat whenever you see him on screen. But North America, we are so excited to see you. The PML is just getting started halfway through. We'll take a quick break and we'll be right back with some more Paladins Minor League.